Okay, so the problems of opening clamshell packaging has been known ever since the concept has been developed, and the problems it causes consumers is one that's widely known. The innovation that we've come up with is essentially very simple because it doesn't add to manufacturing costs, and at the same time it's still completely secure from a retail perspective. What's the idea, and you should be able to see this reasonably well, is that rather than the packaging butts up, the edges butt up here, we introduce a little guide groove that runs all the way around. See from the inside, it doesn't particularly affect the packaging in of itself, but it just creates a small space running around. The guide groove's got two big advantages. It's the path that the packaging designer has optimized for opening purposes, but most importantly from a physical perspective, it's only a single line of plastic and therefore significantly easier to open. So let's see how it compares. We start off with a normal approach, which would be a pair of scissors, quite a big pair in this case, and obviously I'm reasonably strong grip, but nevertheless it's still something of a struggle to physically cut through. You notice that the usual sort of thing, it's not easy. Then there's shards of plastic coming off as well, and in many ways the more I sort of try and cut through it. But this is a problem that we've all experienced ourselves many times. It's not particularly unknown. And now guess what? Open the packaging and get the product out. A couple of the factors is obviously there's little shards here, which means the recycling principles are quite hard to apply. Keeping the packaging elements together from a recycling perspective is very important. In this case, it's doubly hard to recycle. So let's look at the application at various levels. So the most simple is simply an Eazyopen packaging. This has zero cost to manufacturing because it's simply an adaptation of the existing manufacturing process. But what it does mean is, from a consumer perspective, it's a lot easier, which I'll now demonstrate. So let's take, say, for instance, basic level, which would be just a small little paring knife, which is used all the time in a kitchen environment. It's not a big carving knife, it's just a little paring knife like this, easy to handle, everybody's got one. And demonstration works as follows. So it's quite easy to pierce into the guide groove, and this genuinely just slides through with no effort whatsoever. Visually it's super easy. I'm simply following the guide groove on its way down. Turn it around the other way. Again, you'll notice a little pierce, which is easy. Follow it all the way down, comes up. Final bit is just as simple. Maybe start somewhere in the middle, come down to that edge, finish off picking up from that line there, and down to the final cut. So as you can see, that's very simple to do. Single piece of plastic, therefore makes it a lot easier for recycling purposes. So in comparison to either scissors or a big knife, this is clearly a lot safer, a lot easier, and a big improvement in terms of the current situation. But more importantly, let's think a little bit more about making it super simple. And this is particularly targeted with the whole accessibility agenda. So these could be people who have got manual dexterity issues or visual issues, and of course many of the elderly have various degrees of that. So for that increasing demographic, it's certainly something that improving the ease of opening of clamshell packaging is really extremely important indeed. So again, early stages in terms of our design thinking, but we come up with a number of variations, which we call the blister blaster, but it's basically just a simple little device that makes that whole process even easier. An able-bodied person would could use one as well, but certainly the members of the public who struggle, this could be an ideal solution. So in this particular case, super straightforward. We will be putting in little protectors around here, but there's a very small blade there which is hardly visible, and it simply starts at the top end, slides down. Very simple. We'll start from here actually. As you can see, slides all the way down, take it around the corner, slides down, and that is really completely effortless and very safe and secure. You see there's quite a nice, well, there's a very clean edge. Why does it work? Well, of course, it's butted up against the guide groove, so it's a physical, not just a visual guide groove, it's a physical guide groove. Of course, it's a recessed blade, which is highly simple to use and protective. Every household has a corkscrew, has a can opener, a bottle opener, and so really a little device like this in principle should just sit alongside these other opening devices in the kitchen drawer. There are other slight variations on the theme, so yes, this is a kitchen knife, a little small knife, but a lot of people have got crafts knives as well, and I just wanted to show how simple this is, so that even with that tiny projection, which is pretty safe, I'll demonstrate here. There's absolutely no problem at all in terms of it being equally useful. So there's lots of variations. There's the little paring knife, there's a blister blaster itself, or there's some variations in between which are both simple and easy to use. Yeah, thank you.